Hello, thank you and welcome to Steve on Pathways, my video blog to help guide you through the Pathways learning experience based on my own experience. Today is episode 4, Pathways Essentials. These are the key things that I want everyone to know about Pathways and how to navigate through Pathways to complete a project. Let's get started. On the agenda today, we're going to be talking about the overview of a path, finding and reviewing your evaluation, and then doing the second assessment. For my example today, we're going to be focusing on the icebreaker again. At the beginning of each learning module, you'll find in every project, every learning module, whether it's the first one or any of the subsequent learning modules, there is an introduction. And this will give you an idea of what the deliverable is for you to complete this project. So in this case, you'll see culmination is the project culminates in you giving a 4 to 6 minute speech. So I know instantly that I need to give a 4 to 6 minute speech in order to complete this project. That's my deliverable. In this case, it also talks a little bit more about what the speech should be about. It's going to be about, it's an opportunity for me to introduce myself to the group or to the club and share something about myself. So one of the things that I want to mention about this is that if you're new to Toastmasters, you obviously should be going through every slide and viewing every video, looking at the various PDFs to make sure you're getting the most out of the learning experience. And even for experienced Toastmasters, I suggest that you do that, at least explore and learn what's going on. Once you get a little bit more experienced in how the modules are set up, though, sometimes because you're pressed for time, you have a limited amount of time to write a speech or to get ready to finish a project, you need to just jump around and get things done as quickly as possible. And that's what really these essentials are about today. The other thing that I wanted to mention for the experienced Toastmasters who might be watching this is that you were talking about the icebreaker, and once you start Pathways, even though you may have done an icebreaker in a traditional learning program, or if you've already completed a path, you'll know that you'll have to do an icebreaker in every project that you start. And while this may seem a little bit redundant, think of it as a challenge to yourself. If you're an experienced Toastmaster, it's a way for you to demonstrate to newer Toastmasters how to do an icebreaker and how to do it creatively or innovatively, or tell the club something about yourself that you hadn't shared before, or expand upon something that they already know about you. So I would challenge you to make it a challenge to yourself and think about the icebreaker a little bit differently each time you have to give one when you start a new path. But as a Pathways essential, this is one way to get quickly to the essential thing that you have to deliver in each project, is to look at this introduction and read what the culmination should be. Because some projects will not only be a speech, but they'll also include a meeting role, completing a meeting role. The next thing that's really essential is to make sure that your evaluator gets your evaluation. And so we've talked before about using the jump menu to get to your evaluation down here. And there you'll see the evaluation resource, which you can open the editable PDF, save it, print it, email it, whatever you need to do to make sure that it gets to your evaluator. So in each learning module, the evaluation resource, which is essential to getting to your evaluator, is in the module. If you miss it in the module, you can't find it, you can use this jump menu to get to your evaluation, and you should find it there. However, that's not the only place that you can get to your evaluation for this particular project. So one other way is if you go back to your curriculum, up here in this maroon bar, you'll see a couple of drop downs. If you hover over them, there'll be a drop down. Then you can click on the drop down and go to that particular selection, in this case, tutorials and resources. And under tutorials and resources, there is evaluation resources. And you'll notice here, there happens to be 633 results, which seems like a lot, but keep in mind that these are evaluations for every required and elective project in Pathways. And also you can see that they are in every language that Pathways produces materials in. So for most of us, probably sorting on English, we'll get this number down to more like 65, which is much more manageable. Then you can scroll through them they're listed alphabetically. I'm doing an icebreaker. I need my icebreaker evaluation. I can scroll down to alphabetically the I's, and there should be the icebreaker evaluation. I can open it, download it, save it, email it to my evaluator, whatever I need to do. So if you still can't find your evaluation or forget these 2 tips as to where your evaluation is, there's one other place. If your club happens to use the free host software for your meeting agendas. If you go into the agenda, and here you can see I was signed up to do my Introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. If I sign up and identify the project and speech I'm doing, then the evaluation form should fill automatically. You can see I've identified I'm in the innovative planning path, I'm doing this particular project, and my evaluation automatically populates. Again, I could click on this, open it, and I would go into the editable PDF. From there, I can save it, email it, print it, whatever I need to do to make sure that it gets to my evaluator. So this is if your club happens to use the free host software to host your club website. This is another way for the evaluations to automatically be there. And it's also there then for anybody else who needs to access your evaluation, because they can access this the same way that you can in the agenda from free host. The next thing that I want to talk about is a common complaint I hear about Pathways is that I've read through the module, I've done all the assignments, I've given my speech, I've gotten my evaluation, but I still don't have a check mark by this project to show that it's completed. And that's probably because you have not done the assess your skills after. Again, assess your skills after is the step that you must take after you've given your speech in order for the software to know that you have completed this project. If you never do assess your skills after, this project will remain incomplete in your curriculum forever. Your Basecamp manager, officer, no one else can complete it for you. You need to go in, assess your skills after. If you want to take it thoughtfully and seriously and think about each question, that's great. If you just want to go in there and click off whatever you need to click, your responses should be to each question, that's fine. But if you don't do this step, your project will never be completed. So it is essential for any path and any project that you're working on. So just to review what we did in this particular episode, we talked about the overview of the path, finding out what the deliverable is, what do I have to produce as a deliverable for this project to complete it. Finding and reviewing the evaluation, we found that there were 3 different ways to find your evaluation. It's in your module. You can go to tutorials and resources and look for your evaluation there. And also, if your club happens to use the free host software for your club website, if you identify which path and project you're working on, your evaluation should auto-load. And then the last step is making sure you do the second assessment or assess your skills after in every module, every project to complete it. Otherwise, it will remain incomplete. Next episode, we're going to talk about projects number 2 and 3 in a little more detail. So please join me next time for episode 4.